Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to start a podcast in a global pandemic?
And Ella are recording.
Now I'm sweating from my armpits too.
Sweating from your armpits too?
Yeah, obviously I know that's like the most normal place to sweat, but my hands are like flooded, like.
Are you expecting some sweat to like spray off onto the cameras then?
I was like trying to cool them down, but yeah, that's better.
We have two little things that we just need to make you guys aware of. One being that, unfortunately, for the foreseeable, Millie will not be joining us on these podcasts at the moment because she is dealing with a few personal things.
She just needs a little bit of time out.
Bit of her time. And secondly, this episode does contain some information that may be seen as a trigger warning to you. We are talking mental health, eating disorders. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
Hello, Jodie.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast, Jodie. How you feeling, apart from sweating from your armpits?
Sweating from everywhere. I've just realised that my accent is going to stick out like a sore thumb, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
I don't remember you having such a strong accent.
I probably didn't at the time, though.
Right. Jodie, when we have guests on, even though you're only our second guest, I'm talking as if we have had like a million on, we like to get them to do a good, the bad, and the ugly of stuff that's happened in their week.
Okay, let me think. See, I thought mine would all be Ryan returning to school.
Yeah, you said that actually.
But I now have an ear infection in both ears. So that's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Both ears?
Oh, don't even go there. Don't even go there.
Earpods in? And I don't know why that's funny. I'm so sorry.
Brutal. My good is that he has returned to school. He's not loving it, but he's also not refusing to go and crying, so he's over
And what
it.
about your good?
I thought my good was that Ryan went back to school.
Oh yeah, what about your bad?
I've got such an awful period yet again.
We do love a period talk.
Yeah.
We do love a period talk.
You know, I've got period issues.
I think every time we film a podcast, someone is on their period.
Well, I mean, there's only 4 weeks in a month, and you know, there's genuinely normally three hosts, so you're bound to get 3 out of the 4. So yeah, it's probably
Yeah, that's
Very
true. Actually,
true.
I didn't even think about that.
maths. Well done, Bridgebury.
That's the first time you've ever been right about maths on the podcast, though.
Thank you very much. I didn't even need a fucking calculator, and if I did, I've got a new phone and I don't know how to get to it. So to start off by basically saying how we know you.
Oh.
I'll let you go first, Amy, because yours is probably shorter.
Yeah, mine's short. It's literally from school. What? Like 10 years?
No, we left school like 10 years ago, hun.
That makes me because I was literally just about to say 10 years ago. No, I am 26. But we must have been what? 14?
Yeah, because I moved when I was 15. So yeah, 14.
How incredibly immaculate your mum's Christmas tree was.
Me and Jodie actually hated each other when we met.
Do you know what? I think most best friends genuinely will hate, not genuinely, generally will hate each other before they become pals.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand her.
But we'd never spoken. We just didn't like each other.
Yeah, we were
And
them
then-
girls.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden we were inseparable and naughty at school together. We got excluded together and it wasn't even our fault. So then our mums literally rang each other and was like, well, Abby's told me this. What's Jodie told you? Oh, Jodie's told me the exact same. And them two haven't had chance to speak since they got home. So it must be the truth. So then we were rewarded. I was allowed to sleep over at Jodie's because we were in the inclusion centre. We had kebab. Then on the way to school, we got fish and chips, didn't we?
Oh yeah, because we started later.
We got fish and chips.
When you're in inclusion, you know, them little cubby holes that they used to bung you in. you didn't start until, God,
Half
11,
11.
12?
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
we
we
got
had
chip butty on
Chippy.
the way to school.
What the
My mum
hell?
wonders why I was in there so much
Really?
after that.
Huh?
What year were you in?
Ooh.
Well, it was before you
8?
left. Yeah, so year 8, year 9. But yeah, so we hated each other to begin with, but now she is a godmother to my child, and I love her dearly.
I would just like to know how many times you got excluded, Abby.
Oh.
Because
Ask when we do the mum episode. Ask my mum, because I'm sure that's going to be the exposed bit.
you know why I got excluded?
Why?
Because I had fucking red hair.
Oh, I got excluded for having a tongue piercing.
Yeah, because the only reason they got me back into school, because I refused to dye it, because it was like 4 weeks before the summer holidays and I had red hair all year, and even like Agar and everyone were like, why are they excluding me?
Oh, Conor Agar.
I went to matron, won a paper towel Coolidge.
Oh, I fucking hate her.
I loved her.
She said, look, I won't tell you off for all your ear piercings if you just dye your hair. And I was like, no.
Is that?
Of you at school is your fringe.
Oh.
Amy, you can't even talk. Yours was just as bad.
No, my fringe was fucking awful.
We all had them though.
Mine was like long and brushed. Jodie, yours was cut in. I remember it like today. If you know what I mean.
But it's even worse because then she got a pixie cut but kept the fringe, so she looked like a Lego head hair.
I looked like
helmet
I
hair.
looked like summer. It wasn't my best time. Although I don't regret the fringe. I loved that fringe.
Oh,
I had jet black hair. I had blonde under my fringe. Don't know who I thought I was, but I loved it.
Abby, I literally just looked at you and you went like this. I don't know what you were doing.
I don't know.
Your neck disappeared.
I don't have a neck.
Oh, fuck off, you do. Don't you think her face is getting slimmer?
I do. Oh, hang on. Colt's asking me if I want a cheesy chip wrap.
What?
No. A cheesy chip wrap.
Yeah, what?
Makes sense. Like, Dave has a steak and ale pudding. Is it a pudding? Like a sort?
Oh, what, the steam ones?
It's not a pie. It's like weird. Do you call
Like a pasty?
No, it's not.
Hold on, let me just call them quick because I can't be asked to go downstairs.
A pastry? I don't know.
Coming on the podcast. He doesn't know it yet. Answer your phone. I know you. Hello. What is it? Sorry, you're on the podcast, by the way. What, you know, when you say that you from the chip shop you get a pie? What pie is it that you get?
Oh, a bugger pie.
Are you on about the steak and kidney puddings?
Steak and kidney puddings.
What makes it a pudding and not a pie, Dave?
What makes it a pudding and not a pie?
Because the pies are hard, the puddings are soft.
Is it like
Probably
it's
needs
steamed,
cooking a bit
isn't
longer.
Jodie just said it probably needs cooking a bit longer.
Like boiled.
They're boiled.
Yes, they're like steamed. That's what I said. It's like a suet pudding.
Suet, that's it. Suet, that's the word. Suet. Okay, that's what I wanted to know because I couldn't think of what it was.
Alright.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like these pies?
Yeah, they're good. I don't know.
That's not a number, Dave.
10.
Yeah, 7, 8.
7, 8. Okay.
But what other toppings what other filling? Is there like a chicken?
What fillings can you get in these pies?
That's it. There's steak and kidney.
Is that it?
I think so.
And where do we get a pie like this?
From a chippy. Or they sell them in supermarkets.
I've never seen them before.
You can get them in the supermarket.
It really irks me that he calls it a supermarket and I don't know why. It's just the shop.
That's literally what I just called it.
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that, to be fair.
Yeah, I just call it the shop.
We're going to the
shop?
one stop.
Okay, babe, thank you very much. Love you.
Or
the supermarkets are available.
That debate. Jodie used to actually live next to the two-stop shop. Well, her
Who
mum
did?
Your mum did, next to the two-stop shop.
Two-stop shop?
Yeah, that's what it was called, the
Two-stop shop.
two-stop shop. Rather than the one-stop, it was the two-stop shop.
Oh, what, like these fake shops that aren't called Morrison's? They're called, like, Maury daughters or something.
Oh,
Maury's sons.
okay.
Yeah, okay. We'll
I don't even know what's happening. What is this podcast about? Supermarkets?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right. But back to the podcast, yeah?
Yeah.
Again,
Isn't she just professional?
I mean, it's one word for it.
What's that? I felt like she literally looked into both our souls then.
We
Yeah, I
can
did. I
see
looked at
ourselves.
both of you.
Yeah, but we can't see your eyes because we just see the screen. So just...
I actually nearly broke my glasses ripping them off my face then. Amy, would you like to explain why we felt it was a good idea to have Jodie on today's podcast?
Not really, no, because I feel like I probably won't do it justice.
Okay. Jodie, do you know why we got you on today's podcast?
Is it because no, Abby, no, not
What is wrong
really.
with both of you?
Go on, you let us
Okay.
all know.
So today we've brought you on this podcast, Jode, because both myself and Amy have suffered in the past, but we've never suffered to the extreme that we've needed extra help. Is that right, Amy? Would you agree?
Yeah.
So obviously I know you very well. We speak on daily, and I know that you've had struggles with your mental health in the past as well as eating disorders. So rather than going off mine and Amy's backs and researching it and then just coming on and talking about mental health and eating disorders, we thought it'd be better to get an inside view and then we can learn from you. Because for me, I know that I can educate myself better from personal experiences rather than reading information on the web.
Same, yeah. Everything that's going on in the world at the moment, like i.e. Meghan Markle and the royal family and everything like that, you know, she's saying she reached out for help. They were really struggling. Feel like now is a good time to talk about these things.
Yeah, definitely.
That it is okay to talk about these things. Like, I'm a very open person, and I feel like if I have any issues that at present I can seek help.
Yeah.
Some people can't, and I feel like we should just talk about
It definitely needs normalising, doesn't it? Seeking help, it needs normalising, and like mental health needs normalising, because everyone in their life at some point, unfortunately, because it is a horrible thing, will suffer with their mental health.
No, definitely.
Everyone in their life.
And I think the main problem is you hear this quite a lot. If someone's broken their arm, you know, everyone's there because you can see it. You can see they've hurt themselves and, oh, do you need help with that? You know, whereas for me, I really struggle to do things like food shopping on my own, you know, and I'll stand at the end of an aisle until it's empty. But no one goes, do you want me to grab you that milk? You know, and it needs to, obviously not that I want someone to stand and do that because I'd probably just cry. But it needs to be a thing of, it is real. People aren't going crazy. It is okay for someone to be like, do you know what, not today. Today's not my day, and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I've never actually heard that analogy before. So I've never heard spoken in the way that, like, showing physical pain, people are there to help you, but with your mental health, people tend to shy away from it.
Yeah.
And I am
100%.
100% guilty of it, because obviously I know that you've suffered with this for as long as I've known you, but
Yeah.
I still don't know everything about it.
But then that's where education comes into it, because people feel like they'll say or do the wrong thing. If someone's broken their arm, you know, get well soon, mate. Like, oh, cheers, thank you. Whereas if someone's suffering from being mentally unwell for a long duration of time, a short duration of time, you can't just tell them to get better. That's not, it doesn't work, does it? Like,
and that's the worst thing as well. Hang in there, it will get better. It can only go up from here. That's like stuff you don't need to hear.
Yeah, but it is what you will hear.
Yeah.
All the time. It's so cliche, and that's not to say people don't appreciate it, you know. And I would like to point out, I'm not a professional. Like, I can only go on my experiences and, you know, how I deal with things and what I've dealt with
And what you've learned through dealing with them.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I was medicated from 13, 12, 13.
And what was that for?
That was for depression.
Yeah.
And that's, and it almost from memory wasn't a challenge. It was sort of, here you go. And I was referred to CAMS and all them things. But it was never, oh, let's try this route first. It was very much,
So
this
in
is the
your
simple
opinion,
solution.
because there's like this massive thing going on where Dr. Alex George has just been assigned the role as like mental health ambassador. So in your opinion, do you feel like you were failed in a way because you were just medicated straight away and there was no solution to the problem at that point? Or no destination to try and get to the solution of the problem?
Yes and no, because I think at that age, it is too young to be, they change everything. They change the impact. And on the other side, I do have to take responsibility for the fact that I was referred to CAMS. They reached out. They wanted me to do I
talk.
There was loads of different, things to go on at home and do on the laptop. But I thought I knew best. I thought, I don't need this. I want to be like every other person that age. And I went and I dealt with it in the wrong way. I drank too much at such a young age. And
I used to remember actually meeting you from school,
yeah.
and you'd always be late, and her drink for the morning, and it doesn't sound like a lot now, like drinking a bottle of WKD, but her drink for the morning as a 14-year-old would be a big bottle of WKD.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or wine.
Yeah, because that's what your mum would have in.
Yeah.
See, I like from a young age, I had like my demons, I had my troubles, and it's only like in the last 5 or 6 years that I felt okay to talk about it. But because I was so young, I had therapy from the age of 6.
Wow.
Yeah, so obviously there was the option to medicate when you're that age. It really isn't much of an option. Like, obviously, I don't know what it's like now, actually, having said that. But back then, like what we're talking like 20 years ago, it wasn't. It was, she needs to talk to someone. Like, it will get better. That's what my mum used to hit all the time. It will get better. It will get better. And I really, really struggled. I just had a demon. Like, my mum says I was like the girl with the curl. Have you heard that poem? Like, there was a girl with a curl. When she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was an arsehole.
Oh,
no,
not arsehole.
That's an unexpected term.
That's what my mum used to say. Like, I was all sweet and innocent, and then something would happen, and that was it. I'd be an arsehole. They thought I had bipolar disorder because I would have like blackout, but I guess blackout, like, because I wouldn't remember, where I'd have like, in my line of work, we'd call it a challenging behaviour, where I would have a real challenging behaviour. I'd be an arsehole. I'd be horrible. And then the next thing I know, like, my mum's upset and I don't know what I've done wrong. And then I was really remorseful. So they thought I had loads of all these different issues. But thankfully for me, talking to someone was what I needed. And it turns out that I needed it for 10 years.
And if, something was to happen now, would you feel comfortable to be like, do you know what? I know I would benefit from that.
I feel like now, though, it's ingrained in me, the things that I have to do. Like, my therapist, her name was Paula. She was lovely. She, like, I remember her coming round, because obviously you don't do any of that stuff now, but I was so young, and back then it was kind of new, I guess. And she came round, and my mum had this little fireplace, and she was teaching me breathing techniques. And she's like, when you're sad, imagine a square like the fireplace, and you breathe in for this one and then out for this one, and so you go around and you keep doing it until you feel calm. So I do that. So I'll just do it in like a square. I'll find something square on the wall, and I'll just like along the side breathe in, across, out, down, in, and I'll keep doing that. And
psychologists actually call that learnt behaviour, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she said, and obviously we don't know 100% what's bugging you. So let's just name it. And Monsters Inc. had just come out, and Randall was the baddie in Monsters Inc. So whatever it was that was bugging me, we named Randall, and that was the ongoing joke between my family now. Like,
I love that though.
Mood,
I like that.
But that's what made it good. Like, that's what made us able to talk about these things. Like,
Yeah.
long time. And I'll never forget, my sister said to me, I must have been about 15. It was her 13th birthday. And I remember her looking me dead in the eye going, you fucking ruined my birthday. I hate you. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, I honestly didn't know what was wrong. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I'd only talk to my gramps. But now, like, I can talk about things and I feel, and like, I'm really fortunate that I've never had to be medicated, but I would be open to it should I need it.
Yeah.
That's an avenue that I'm happy to go down. But I know for me that talking about it and talking in general, like, obviously I like a chat, I wouldn't have a podcast otherwise. But in general, really, I think it helps. It just gets a weight off your shoulder. When people are ringing, like, to have a rant, I need to get it off my chest. It's the same.
Yeah.
Like, talk for
I'm
me.
the complete opposite though. So like, I've had, I'm gonna do it again, the bouts or spouts, whatever it is, of depression in my life, but I've never had to be medicated for it. I was close to being medicated for it after Faye, and I suffered with postnatal depression, but I never spoke to anyone about it until my mum was literally like, obviously she notices everything, my mum's on the ball, and she was literally like, you need to tell your health visitor, because if you don't, I will. So it wasn't until that point that I actually started owning up to actually like how I was feeling, and that was only like 4 years ago.
But that's good though, and it shows that you felt like you could be normal around other people and feel your feelings. I say that all the time. Like, I think people should feel their feelings. But there's one thing for me that I guess for a long time I had like this, I suppose you'd say, like, naivety, if that's even the right word, about people being medicated. And I think this is why it's so important that mental health is a topic or a subject that is taught in schools and spoken about all the time. Because for a long time, when my sister first went on antidepressants, a part of me was literally like, fucking sort it out.
Same again.
If I went through more than you don't need them. Bearing in mind, like, she'd lost her dad. I hadn't. I had both parents, but part of me sounds awful. Maybe I'm going to cut it out. But
no, because it's real. Because I was the exact same. So I would always say to my mum, "No, I don't need to go on antidepressants because I'm not crazy."
Yeah,
now, I don't think people that are depressed are crazy, but in my head, I was like, no, I'd be so ashamed if I'd gone on medication. And that stuck in my head for no reason other than I didn't have the proper knowledge on mental health.
I've flipped it around now. Like, I would never be ashamed to have to be on medication for anything, because I think I've acknowledged something that is wrong with me. I've tried all avenues. This is what's going to work for me. I'll try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll try something else. So I'd never, ever be ashamed of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've literally just forgot what I was about to say. I've written it down. How did I start that sentence? Fuck. Brain fart.
Never be ashamed of that. Medication.
One sec, it's coming. I've lost it. Oh my God.
On the flip side though, you know, some people do try medication and it doesn't work for them, because I was the opposite. See, I've always been medicated on and off, and I was very much against counselling. I didn't want to do it. Oh, she's sneezing. Bless you.
Thank you.
Literally, I was waving my arms around because I was like, I know, I've remembered. I just wanted to say that, like, obviously I would take them should I need them. Like, you know yourself when there's something wrong. And although I've just said that back then, I was like, what the fuck, you don't need that. But you do know, especially as you get older, you do know when there's something wrong, and you do know when you need help. I flip it now, and I always say, like, I am so incredibly lucky that I don't have to rely on a medication to help me at the moment for anything. Like, my mum, bless her heart, is just on so many just to survive throughout the day, and that's not mental health, that's physical health as well. So I literally count my lucky stars that I wake up every day and I'm, touch wood, I'm healthy, and at the moment especially, I'm healthy in my, like, mind, body and my soul. So I just wanted to say, like, if you feel like you need to flip it, then say it a different way, word it differently. That's all I want to say.
But it's the same with Faye, because if I don't, like, she has to have her seizure, why can't I say that? Her seizure medication to get through the day. And if she doesn't have that, she's more likely to have a seizure.
Wait, having said that, Abby, like she needs that to survive. The same with like some people need antidepressants, some people need these things to survive. Like it's like I say that, yeah, on the flip side, I'm really lucky to not have to take them. But if I needed them to survive, I would
take them.
And then I would be just as thankful for having them to take to make me feel better. Do you know what I mean? Is my cross right? Like, I'm not coming across like narcissistic.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
No, yeah.
But there are quite a few people who take this medication, and I know someone who takes it, but it doesn't make them feel better. It just blocks, they don't feel anything. So it just blocks everything out, so they don't feel anything. So it's literally there's like, either I don't take this and I can't function because this depression is so debilitating, or I do take it and I just don't have any feelings anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't heal things, you know, and I think that's a big misconception. It doesn't make everything better. Like, I take anxiety medication. That doesn't mean I'm no longer anxious and no longer suffer. It just means it takes the edge off a bit. It makes my day a little bit easier to function sometimes, and to compartmentalise things and just to focus.
So going back to this, all started at around 12, 13, you actually acknowledging it. Why did you not want to go down the counselling route? Obviously, you said that it was because you wanted to just be normal, and I do say that in quotations marks because there is no normal in this world. Mm-hmm. But you say that you just wanted to be normal and fit in with everyone else. Now, talking from experience from knowing you then, there was a lot of girls in our school who suffered the same as you did. Probably not to the same extent, or maybe more, but there was a lot of girls in our school who obviously needed the help as well. Now, I can't speak for them, I don't know if they took the help, but what stopped you?
I think, and do you know what, this is something I've never thought of. I think in my mind, worse things had happened, you know, and I felt like, but I've got through that.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with that. When now that I'm older, now that I have done therapy, I know that the reason I'm like that at 12, 13, 14 is because of them things. I didn't deal with them. I wasn't okay from them. You know, I'd push them away and push them to the side and focus on other things, and they just crept back in, as things will do if you don't deal with them.
I was being a teenager, and I was more worried about what everyone else thought of me and not what I thought of myself. So things like that, it's not cool. I remember being like 14. No, I must have been 16, because my therapist had left me. She was retiring, like they'd given me a new one, and this woman didn't know me from Adam, and it really threw me off everything. And I had to go, instead of going to the War Memorial where I could take myself off to, I had to go to somewhere in Fareham, and I couldn't get myself to Fareham. Like, I had this weird fear of buses. Couldn't get myself to Fareham, so my mum had to take me, and then it was like taking part of my independence away, and I was like, oh, do I have to go? And then I stopped going. It just wasn't me. She didn't know me. She didn't know anything. Like, I had better things to do. Like, I was a teenager, I had my friends to hang about with. I really needed to talk to someone, and then she sent me a letter saying, well, I've missed like X amount of appointments, so obviously I don't need therapy anymore, or something along those lines. And that was it. And
but
then
surely that's such a warning. Like, she's missing them. Why is she missing them?
And then I had a mental breakdown. Like, I had a full-on breakdown, and that's when my sister said, you ruined my birthday.
See, the thing is, when I look back at school, and it is going, like, obviously I know we keep on going back to school, but when I look back at school,
that's where it starts, though. That's the root.
Yeah, that is where most of it starts, because it's such an impressionable age, and like everyone around you is happy. They've all got their boyfriends, they've got their friends, they're all going out, and you do have to, again, and I do say this in quotation marks, have to be normal, otherwise you don't get accepted.
Yeah, 100%.
So do you, like, I suppose the question to both of you is, do you both feel like that was why you kind of repressed, like, the help that you were getting?
No, maybe to an extent, but I think for me, I wanted to be the strong one. I wanted to be the strong friend, you know. I wanted to be the friend whose house was the safe place and who you could go to if you had a problem and I would fix it for you. And I didn't want to be the person who had to be fixed, you
Yeah.
know, and rely on others. And I don't know, I didn't want to be the weak one. And I feel like by admitting to some of my problems, it made me weak. But at the same time, I think within our friendship group, I was weird, and I kind of owned that, and I was okay with being a bit weird.
So going back 10 years before mental health was it was like a stigma, wasn't it? Is that the right word?
Mhm.
Still is a bit of a stigma, to be
Well,
fair.
yeah, it still is, but it's more spoken about now and more acknowledged now.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, I had no clue what anxiety was, didn't really understand depression, didn't know like half of like bipolar, the body dysmorphia. I didn't know any of these. There was anorexia and there was depression, and that was, do you know what I mean? That was about it.
Yeah.
So going back then, if you were feeling these feelings, it's hard to be the weak one because you don't know what's different. You don't know if you're different to anyone else.
Can I just say as well, back then, anorexia wasn't really a bad thing. And I know that's a bit of a...
It was beautiful. It was on Tumblr. Everyone wanted to be the thinnest. Everyone wanted that thigh gap. Everyone wanted to be in the shower where, you know, it caught.
You get the wet collarbones, yeah.
Like, that it wasn't a... It was beautiful. Well, like you said, it was a beautiful thing back then. Do you know that those models only eat a cube of cheese every time they feel hungry? Look how beautiful they are. I want to have bodies like them. And then you have like these agencies, you're a size 8, you're too fat. Like, are you joking? Like, that's where all that stigma came from. And you're right, it was all over Tumblr. It was almost normal to have that. And that's why I'm actually shocked as I've gotten older. There's so many more people I know that have suffered with some type of eating disorder or some type of disorder that revolves around food.
Yeah.
Sorry, that really
definitely. And I'll admit, like, you know, myself, my mum, and my sister, we're slim. That's just how our bodies are. And when someone points that out, oh God, are you thin? Oh, there's nothing to you. You know, in your mind, if there's already something there, it adds to it, and you think, oh, am I still that thin? I could be thinner though. And then, you know, and it sort of becomes a need, and you sort of crave it a bit. I don't know about everyone, obviously, but for me, I was scared to not be the, oh God, there's nothing to you, you know.
Because
it was comfort.
Your depression and your anxiety started that young, but your addiction to food management started that young as well, didn't it?
Well, it started a lot younger, yeah. But I didn't realise what it was. You know, we all just thought I was a bit of a fussy eater, but no, my problem with food, I can remember.
So me and Jodie's mum had we have such an amazing relationship, and I used to go, Jodie would be upstairs and I'd be upstairs with her, and I used to go downstairs for a fag in the conservatory, and I'd end up speaking to your mum for like 45 minutes, and she'd come down and be like, well, where the fuck you gone? But I can remember going in there, and it'd be after school or something, and Julie would turn around to me and be like, oh, I found another bag of food of Jodie's under the bed. And I can remember I used to lie for Jodie and be like, oh no, that was mine, I left it here last week, it fell out my lunchbox, because I didn't want her to get in trouble. Because although I didn't understand it, I knew that if her mum had gone on at her more, it would have got worse. So all of us we used to lie about it, didn't we? Or we used to like eat your dinner for you. So we, like, as a friend back then, I enabled it because I thought that was what she needed.
But like the other day, like, you apologised about it, and the thing is I feel like I need to apologise for putting you guys in that situation. But when we were that young, we didn't understand it. I mean, I lived every day like that, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And, you know, with my mum, this is nothing against her, you know, we've never spoken about it. It's never been a conversation.
She's always wanted to ignore it though, hasn't she?
I am meant to be on this pedestal. You know, I'm the strong kid. I'm the one that nothing gets to. And actually, I'm damaged as hell, you know? And I remember when we were moving, can't remember who was there. There's a picture of us in my old bedroom. In my room, my mum was packing. So in my wardrobe, it's not just like an open door, it was a walk-in wardrobe. And I used to put food in there. And so my mum was packing the wardrobe. So she was in it. And there were so many places to hide things. It was great for me at that time. And I remember just feeling empty because she pulled out this sort of like sandwich bag and it had like brown. I couldn't tell you what was originally in it, but it wasn't that anymore. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, she's seen it. Everyone in the room had seen it. No one said a word.
No, we didn't.
And I thought, what's going to happen right now? Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Never spoken about it.
She didn't even mention that one to me either. And obviously she knows we saw that.
Yeah.
Because we were all sitting on your bed going through your old pictures, taking everything off the walls.
Yeah.
So I suppose in a way that like your mum didn't help in the sense that she also enabled it because she found it weird, but she didn't tell you that she found it weird.
Yeah, but I guess she didn't understand why did I do that.
Yeah.
As an adult now, we've still never had that conversation, but I'm very much to the point, well, I can't do that because I can't do that with food, or, well, no, I wouldn't eat that because that's touching that.
Yeah.
But we sort of have an understanding that I'm not okay with food, you know, why, when, it's never been a conversation. And I think moving forward for us as a generation, when we have children and they grow up, everything will be so much more open. You know?
Definitely, because they're going to be taught about it. They'll be more knowledgeable at how feelings like this are okay, but sometimes you will need help with it.
Yeah, but that conversation needs to start at home.
I had a conversation with my sister today, so we're both calorie counting, and I want to lose. It's not necessarily I want to lose weight. I say that I want to lose weight because that's the easiest thing to say, but for me it's more for health reasons. Like, I want to be healthy again. I want to be fit again. Like, I want to live a good, long, healthy life. This is what I want to do. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm not like I'm gonna be really skinny, or I'm not interested. I just want to be healthy. And I was talking to my sister about it today because she's doing the same, and like, she's £2. I think she's £2 off of losing a stone, and she's like not long had a baby. Like, Harriet's 9 months old, so like it's important to her that she starts to feel more herself.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and we both use the same app for calorie counting. I said, oh, like, how are you getting on? And she was like, I don't do it on a Friday anymore. I don't calorie count on a Friday, and I don't calorie count on a Saturday. I will do it for the rest of the week, but I don't do it on those 2 days because I don't want to restrict myself, and I know when it'll get too much for me. So yeah. If I stick, she's like, I'm strict throughout the week, but then on a Friday and a Saturday, I'm not. I'll do whatever I want. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, actually, yeah, that's, if you know,
that's a good idea.
I mean, she's nearly slowed down, so it's obviously working well for her. Like, she takes Harriet on a walk every day. Excuse me, but it's that she's got that mindset, like, okay, she knows when her limit is her limit. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. And I think it's so important as well, because if you become fixated on like that number, why haven't I lost that much? Why haven't I? And you give yourself that, it's only going to make it harder for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take it as it comes.
I've done so much research about it, because I was quite interested in like learning more about nutrition and stuff, purely for like health reasons, nothing, and just curiosity. Like, I'm just interested in learning about something like that. And I did loads of research about it, and people like I know loads of people that have lost loads of weight by calorie count, but they're eating like 1,200 calories a day, or anywhere from 900 calories to 1,200 calories a day,
which isn't sustainable for life.
They're starving themselves, and then they're wondering why when they eat a normal amount they start putting on weight, because their bodies aren't used to it.
Yeah.
And all I've got to say is to anybody who is considering calorie counting, work it out on a TDEE calculator and then eat all of your calories that you're allowed. Eat all of them. Because if you don't eat them, you will starve. Eat, please.
Do you find, obviously, Joe, you've mentioned that you suffer with an eating disorder. Do you find conversations like this triggering for yourself? Because there are some people that I've spoken to about it who can't.
I didn't even think about that. Sorry. Oh my god.
No, you're fine.
I'm only asking because I
I'm
talk about
trying
it
to
every day.
think. Yeah, I think it depends, maybe, because I can go through great stages and really ugly stages, even now. So maybe, but at this point, I'm very, I don't know if the word comfortable is right, but I'm very comfortable in the fact that I've got issues, but they're mine and I'm easy to talk to about them. I'm very oversharing of them because I want them to be an easy conversation to have. Other people also have issues and they're not issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so hard to know what word, isn't it? And
You're
that's also fine.
I'm like, everyone's got their own fucking shit. Like, so you're wording it perfect.
Yeah, it's,
Definitely.
I always worried that someone will pussyfoot around a conversation with me. I'll walk on eggshells. And I think it's a normal thing to do because I guess, you know, if someone passes away in someone's family, and you sort of do that, don't you?
Yeah.
You always, you never know what to say. And I guess it's a little bit like that because you want to talk to this person, you still want to know how they're doing, but, what if you say the wrong
What's
thing?
too much?
Yeah.
Hard as well if you are like really overbearing and oversharing. Like my sister's dad passed away and she makes dad jokes all the time, but that's like, honestly, she does, but that's what
That's her coping mechanism.
Yeah, some people are so different. So yeah, in that perspective, like I can appreciate that it can be hard for some people, and that's probably why it's such a taboo subject, because you're always going to get people that you'll be talking to and you won't say anything that you mean in a malicious way in any way, shape or form, but they'll interpret it that way and instantly there's like barriers up. We can't talk about this anymore.
I think it comes down to the person's fragility as well with their diagnosis, or whether they have been diagnosed yet as well. So some people, like for you, Jode, you're completely comfortable about talking it. You're open to us asking any questions that we have, and you'll answer them if you can. But say if it's someone who's just started on their journey in recovery and has only just started to admit that, I don't want to say they've got a problem, but again, I don't know how to word it.
Yeah.
Has just started on that journey, they might not be as comfortable answering, but they know the answer. So it's hard to wager whether you feel comfortable talking to them about it, one, but it's also, you don't want to come across offensive by showing you care, but they're not ready for you to care yet.
Yeah, and this sort of goes back to when we had the conversation the other day where you was like, I'm sorry, I enabled it, I helped you. But back then, if you'd have tried to help by, confronting me, asking me why, talking to my dad about it, we would have fallen out. We wouldn't be friends because that's not what I needed you for then.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if I was really struggling and for some reason I didn't feel like I could reach out to whoever and you cottoned on, if you turned around and came to my partner and said, I think something's not quite right, I, in the long run, would be like, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's the difference of where I am.
Can we take a pause a minute and you just actually explain to us what mental health illnesses that you suffer with and what eating disorders that you actually suffer with?
Okay, yeah. So eating wise, a lot of problems that people have with eating does come down to control.
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, there was something that happened that I didn't have control over. I didn't understand it. And so what I did, without knowing, because I was at such a young age, took it out on food. And that means I would have had everything plain, just plain pasta, nothing touching it. Or, something little like that. And that carried on throughout my life, and I didn't understand the initial problem, so I continued to take it out on my food because I could control that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know it if I'm lying. If I go, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm not hungry. But for me, I'm like, I am hungry. I don't need to eat yet.
Yeah.
I'll eat when I want to eat. You know, and the problem with that is, in the end, you're not in control. In the end, it controls you. And
Does it become kind of like a bit of an obsession?
100%, yeah. For me, it took over, and I became really clever. And I say that almost like I'm boasting now, because back then it was, I am really clever, I've sussed this. And it's sad now to think of that girl, that little girl, feeling like that, because it's so shit, you know? So for me, I used to hide food. I used to starve myself. And I've actually to write it all down because, you know,
Before you get to that, I have a question. So, in regards to your food only, do you feel like you lost part of your childhood because you were so obsessed with food?
If I'm honest, I don't remember a lot of it anyway. I
Okay.
don't remember a lot of things because I also have PTSD, and sometimes that can happen. It can block out certain things, which I could get back one day, but
Yeah.
for now, I don't remember a lot of things.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I started with, you know, controlling my intake and outtake of food. It's really hard to get diagnosed with any kind of eating disorder because a lot of it is in the mind, okay? But they're not looking for that. They're looking for what it says on the scale and, you know, the things you can see. And that isn't it. And that's what needs to be changed.
Okay.
So eventually, you know, anorexia, it was a bitch. It caught up with me. Binge eating, I did that a lot. I would restrict myself for as long as I possibly could. Then I would get angry with myself for allowing myself to let my mind win. So then I would eat and eat and eat. And I don't mean I'll have a packet of crisps and a biscuit. I mean, I will sit on the floor, cry my eyes out. I will eat like 12 bags until, like, not even chewing, like I'm just throwing them in, you know, and it's awful. And I'll get to the point where I'm physically gonna throw up if I do any more. And then comes the guilt because I've then allowed myself to do that. So then you throw up, and it's a cycle. And a lot of people think you can only have one, but you can have tendencies of the other. It wasn't until I moved from Portsmouth to Yorkshire that bulimia sort of kicked in, because I was around family, a lot of the time. It became harder to, oh, I'm not hungry. Oh, I ate earlier. No, you didn't, because I was with you, you know. And those clever little tricks that I'd learned, I couldn't do anymore. So throwing up, you know, all that sort of thing, that became my new thing. One behaviour can lead to another. It's a big cycle, and it's ugly. And until you face it, you will just keep going around and around.
So you had your first child quite young.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Were you still suffering with these eating disorders whilst you were pregnant?
Yes and no. I fell pregnant with Ryan when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I never thought I'd have kids because
Sorry, how old were you when you had it?
I was 15 when I was pregnant, 16 when I had him.
Why did I feel like you weren't that young?
No, I was that young. I knew it was going to be an issue, but I knew my responsibilities had automatically changed.
Yeah.
If I was big enough to go out and get myself in that situation, I had to then become a mum instantly, do what a mother would do and look after, you know, the human growing. And it isn't that easy. It is not that easy at all, because you are fighting with your mind constantly. And I was so small, you know, always. So watching myself grow, and I got big with Ryan.
Yeah, you did.
I cried every day. Like,
Did your illness kind of take over and you didn't see I'm pregnant, I'm carrying a baby, did you just kind of have two mindsets, whereas I'm pregnant, I'm carrying a baby, or I'm just getting fat?
I was getting fat. For me, I could not fathom the fact that I can lose it, this happens. This isn't just you, it's happening to everyone who's having a baby. This is what's happening to them too. However, I did eat throughout my whole pregnancy, and yeah, it wasn't 3 meals a day, but it was a lot more than what I was eating prior to that.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean anything bad by it, but I genuinely am curious that when you said it was control about food, when did it? Because you said about you were getting fat and it was making you uncomfortable. So when did your control from food become your control on body weight, or were they both the same thing?
Just then, just at that time, because I'd always been so small. Naturally, I'm smaller built.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that I'd ever been any other size, really. So that was a whole other challenge. I'd had Ryan, I'd put on over 2 stone, throughout the pregnancy. And I remember straight away, they offer you toast in the hospital. And I'm like, Mum, Ryan said to you, I'm like, you need to eat that. And I remember not eating for a long time. And the first thing I had was plain spaghetti.
Did it kind of, as soon as you'd had Ryan, it just instant snap back, I need to start controlling it again?
It's not a matter of controlling after a certain amount of time because it's natural.
Okay.
So it felt weird to me eating that much.
Yeah.
Like, still to me now, like my partner will say to me, I'm really proud of you now. I don't like to mention it because I don't want to bring it up, but you're doing really well. It was just me and Ryan for a long time, and I knew that Ryan had to eat food that I wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So on a week I would make spaghetti bolognese, and then I would freeze some of it because he's just one little person, and then I would freeze it for the next week, and so that he had proper meals, whereas I'm there sitting eating like smiley faces and turkey dinosaurs. And my child was like, but I want to eat that. I want to eat that. And so from a young age, I've had to adjust to explain to him, not everyone can eat certain things.
Can I ask, was it because you'd already been through it with Ryan, when you fell pregnant for the second time, were you not, I was going to say, were you ready? But I don't think anyone's ever ready for pregnancy. But I mean, were you like, okay, I've done it before, I know what I need to do this time for me? Does that make sense?
And on the back of that question as well, was it different because you were older? And obviously, I don't want to say more supportive, but Ryan's dad obviously came back to Portsmouth. If you were going through the pregnancy semi on your own, even though you were in a relationship, Colt was, well, no, because Colt couldn't be there either because of the pandemic. Never mind, carry on.
But emotionally, he was there. He was available. He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, obviously, I was 15 when I was not planned. For us, it was a conversation, because it's not just about my body changing. Mentally, can I do this? Our daughter, she was planned, and it was a big change, but I was ready for it.
Yeah.
And I knew that things weren't going to be easy. And it turned out that actually it wasn't my weight that was the issue throughout my pregnancy. It was I had it in my mind that she would be born and I would sort of hand her to her dad and I would want to be home with my son. And throughout my whole pregnancy, I had a mental health midwife along with 2 other midwives because I was so adamant that I wasn't going to have my daughter with me, that I was sort of carrying her for Colt. He was going to go home, parent her, and I was going to come home to my son.
Quite interesting that you say a mental health midwife. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know there was a thing. Yeah. So with Ryan, because of my age, I was so nervous to let anybody know that anything was wrong because I thought they'll just take him away. They'll be waiting at the end of the labour ward, and they'll take him from me. They'll think I'm not capable.
I think that's like a natural feeling for any young mum, though.
100%.
Because
any mum, any age.
But I think it's heightened when you're younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Skip over the fact that you said you felt like you were just going to give birth and hand her to her dad and then you were going to go home to your son. Do you think, and I apologise if I'm out of turn here, but do you think that was what started your postnatal depression?
No, because I was very lucky that as soon as she was born, she was mine. Like,
Good.
you can leave if you want, but I'm here. Like, these are my 2 kids.
Can I just say she is fucking incredibly gorgeous. Like,
Thank you.
So sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, yeah. So it was tough, and I had to give consent to my midwife that if I wasn't doing good, Colt could ring on my behalf, almost to get me into this setting, this placement setting where mothers have to go with their young babies. So it was really scary. But it's terrifying.
Really lovely, like in
the sense of an outstander,
yeah,
a bystander. It's lovely to know that there's
have
places
and that there is somewhere that you could go. Like, I don't think a lot of people know. Like, we didn't know about the mental health midwife. Didn't know there was places. Well, actually, no, I did from EastEnders, but I didn't. That's drama, so
yeah, you don't know the real life.
Yeah, like it's just so
yeah. And I was really eager this time. I knew going in there's going to be challenges. They can see all my records. They know I've got issues, and I decided I was going to get all the help I could get. I was going to do it right this time.
But did you do that for you, or did you do it so they didn't have a reason to take your kids?
I did this for Ryan. I did this because I couldn't be carrying a child and not be okay, because I still have him at home. He's still my number one priority.
Yeah.
In that time,
How did you get that help though? Was it because of your records? Because obviously if someone's battling depression and eating disorder, anxiety, and feels they need the extra help during their pregnancy, but isn't on record to have those problems because they haven't spoken out before.
So when you
was it offered to you automatically, or?
So it was offered to me, but I don't know if you'll remember with Faye, when you go to your first midwife appointment, there's questions they ask, and it came up. It depends how honest you are with them. They can't help you if you're not honest with them at the end of the day, and that is easier said than done.
Yeah.
But it is true. And they ask, are you medicated? Do you suffer with this, that, and I'm like, yeah, tick it all. Like,
did you carry on with your medication throughout your pregnancy?
So I know me, and I know I am better medicated. However, I also know if I continued with medication and something happened, even though it would have been completely, irrelevant to me taking this medication, I would always put it on that and I would blame me.
Yeah.
So I was really, I want to come off it. I'm not okay with this. After a lot of talks, we took it right down to the minimum that I could be on, and I was medicated for a while, but so I had my mental health midwife, and she was like, yeah, you should take it, because how's the baby going to do good if you're not doing good? If you're stressed, she's stressed, and that is so true, and that is so important. However, my other two midwives weren't quite the same.
Yeah.
There was very much, well, because you take medication, you might have to stay in with your baby because she could be born, shaking and have to withdraw. And it made me feel like a dirty drug user. Okay.
Yeah.
So I took myself off.
That's so unfair for making you feel guilty about something that you need to live. Like, you're not. That's really pissed me off.
It was so wrong at the time. And I would say to my mental health midwife, and I would be like, but they're making me feel like this, and and she's like, look, I can tell you don't have to stay in the hospital. She's like, you can discharge yourself, and they can't keep your baby because she's yours.
Yeah.
But then you sort of think, oh my God, but then they're going to think I'm, everything plays over in your mind, and
midwives that tell you you must breastfeed.
yeah,
Breastfeeding is very important. No, honey, it's not. As long as my baby's fed, that's what's important. They're definitely those midwives. I don't care what anyone says. That's what they are.
it was very much, made me feel like I couldn't do that because I wasn't staying in hospital for anybody. Unless something was wrong with her, we were going home.
Fair.
And we did. We came home.
Let's go back to, because obviously we got a bit sidetracked because I asked a question about one of your condition. Is it a condition? Is it an illness? One of them when you were pregnant with Ryan and Flib. Let's backtrack a little bit and go back to what else there is that you do suffer with. So you've said about eating, journey from anorexia and bulimia and how it's linked back to your post-traumatic stress disorder. But we haven't really touched on like your depression or anxiety. You've mentioned that you're medicated for them. Are you, like, obviously you come off them for Liberty, are you back on them now?
Oh yeah.
Was that pretty much like an instant back on the medication, or?
See, it takes me a while. When I'm not on them, it takes me oh my God, what is wrong? It takes me a while to realise, oh, that's why I'm being a bitch. That's why I'm crying at the bill. That's, and
I cry at the bill, it's fine.
I cry medicated on the bill, but it's worse when it's the intro when I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna go wrong. People around me know the difference before I do. And I can be stubborn and be like, nah, I don't want it. But who's that helping? No one. I completely understand that some people don't want to do that. They don't want to have medication control their life. But the thing is, and for so many years, I was like that. And I was so on and off them. But you have to realise is if you, I don't know, what's something you need medication for?
Asthma.
You'd use a pump, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just because, them things in your head, what are they called?
Right.
I don't have enough of them.
Right.
No. Also, pheromone. There's like little happy faces in your head and little faces, okay?
What is it called? Now I know
there is a word.
Endorphins.
But I don't have enough, as most people, of the happier ones. So all this medication is doing is releasing these things that makes me have happier ones. That's the only way I can describe it. So it's like giving me an inhaler if I had asthma.
Yeah.
There's no shame to it. If you can't breathe, I'm not judging you. If I can't go daily without my medication, don't judge me.
If someone has athlete's foot and they use athlete's foot cream, it's not a bad thing. No, because you said about we're using analogies now. I'm just trying to say how ridiculous it is. Like when you say it like that, well, a person with asthma needs an inhaler to survive. I'm not saying with athlete's foot you need athlete's foot cream to
but I think everyone would appreciate it if you used it.
Does that make sense?
So
just trying to reflect that it's so stupid.
Yeah.
They're the same, really. They're not that much different if you really think about it.
Yeah, that's very true. Can you honestly say that you take the medication for yourself, though? Is it for you? Or is it for those who are surrounding you?
It's for me and my family.
Yeah. Because I think that plays a massive deal in how the medication affects you as well. And I know it's more of like a placebo thing, but if you're only taking the medication for, say, a partner because they've said, oh, I need you to take this, otherwise it's not, like, it's over type thing. Maybe
I'd be like, bye then.
But if you were taking it for someone else, I don't feel like it would work as well as if you wanted to take the medication.
But that's the same with everything. That's like a therapy. If someone forced you into therapy, you're not going in there with the right, you're not going to get anything from it. And that's the same with everything, mental health, anything. You have to do things for you. But for me, I'm a mum now, I'm going to be someone's wife. I need to do these things for all of us. That felt good to say. Got to be someone's
Literally, I
wife.
want to say fair fucking play, but I thought I would literally be like dampening
No.
how you worded that. So worded that. You
Da- da-
how you worded that. So fair fucking play, Han. Fair fucking play.
And I think everyone will get to that point in their journey. Don't push yourself. Don't, if you're not ready.
Now, we know that you were medicated post-lib and that was last year. So where are you at now?
So going back again, I did therapy. It changed my life. Mary, I love you. Like, honestly, I was one of these people who thought she's going to be doodling on that notepad. She's going to be thinking what she's going to have for her dinner. Oh, I couldn't be more wrong. Like, I love her. She changed my life. And people could tell around me that things were different for me.
I can't relate to this because I've never been through any kind of therapy. So I can't really relate to how you're feeling. Or when you were telling your story, Amy, I couldn't relate to how you were feeling. So to those who haven't been through therapy, does it, the metaphor, it's literally like a weight lifted off your shoulder. Is it literally like that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say at first, but I guess it depends what you're having therapy for.
Yeah.
Because for me, it had to get worse and ugly before.
That's the thing as well. And for a lot of it does have to get ugly before it gets better. But when it gets better, it's amazing. I have a few friends that regularly they'll pay the £50 a month to go private to have it because it's the best thing ever. Channing Tatum said as well, like, people should normalise going to therapy and talking about their problems.
I know quite a few people who don't actually suffer, or I'm not aware that they suffer with any kind of mental illness, but go to therapy just because they need someone to talk to.
Yeah. But that's like you ringing your mum. Your mum's your outlet. Some people don't have that, or they don't feel comfortable sharing certain things with things, and that's their outlet. That's how they can vent it out.
People will also use that as a preventative measure as well. Like, they can see that something is not quite right, but they don't know what it is. So they'll go and talk to someone who may be able to help them pinpoint what it is that is bothering them or is causing them some disharm. Bless you.
Yeah, and also an unbiased opinion. This person doesn't know you. They doesn't know the person you're slagging off, or the person you're actually in love with, or the person you're having an affair with. So their point of view.
Right, so we went back. So you went through therapy and it was the best thing for you at
It
that
was the best thing. But at that time in my life, I got out of it as much as I needed.
Okay.
Now, after having liberty, new things have arisen. Things that I didn't think I would ever have to face, they have, which is fine. It's tough and it's going to be the hardest thing I'll do, but I have to do it.
So has this just come about in the last couple of weeks?
Yes. So had an assessment last week, maybe the week before, and on Tuesday, I think it was, I had my first appointment.
Okay.
So now I'm going to be doing CBT, which is
that cognitive behavioural therapy?
cognitive behaviour therapy. Yeah. So I'm going to do high intensity of that, and they're basically going to try and unplug things. I'm going to have to go into really dark places to change the way I feel about things, or to understand the way I feel about things, to move on.
Are you scared at what place this is going to put you in?
Terrified. Yeah, 100%. But I'm 25 now. I don't want to still be doing this the way I'm doing it when I'm 35, when I'm 45, when I've got grandkids. I have to do this now because if I don't, it's going to affect the way I parent my kids, the way I bring up my daughter, the way I educate my son on things. If I don't do this now, I'm going to be that mum. The kid's going to be climbing out the window because I don't let her breathe. I don't let her do anything herself. She's got to make mistakes. Ryan's got to make mistakes. I have to let them. And I won't.
Are you scared, Liberty more, because obviously she is a girl, that she will follow in your footsteps?
No.
Not at all?
Nope.
Is there a reason why you're so adamant that won't happen?
I am not my mother. And I say, no. I don't say that in a way that my mum's not a good mum. I parent my kids very different.
Do you feel like because you've been a child in the situation that now you know how to kind of
it?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, you've been there, now you can do it, and you, in an awful way, I don't mean any disrespect to your mum, but
no,
you made the mistakes and you're now learning from them.
Yeah, I won't find a bag of food and act like it's nothing. If I'm finding a bag of food, girl, we're talking about it. We will cry. We will do all of it.
You can relate to it as well, so it's not something that you don't know anything about because you've been there.
Also, in my home, it's it's going to be a conversation. It's not going to be a thing that none of us know about.
Yeah.
Just the same as if someone is an amputee, you know, you're aware of it. You get it. Sometimes it might be a bit of an elephant in the room, but we're aware of it. And that's how mental health is going to be in my home.
I love that. I think that's brilliant. Not in like a patronising
Amputee way.
Yeah. No, I genuinely, I think that is brilliant. Fair play. Like, I think everybody should have mindsets like that. And unfortunately, because it is still such a taboo subject, people won't. And that makes me sad.
Yeah, and it's rubbish. But I think the main reason I wanted to do this type of episode is because I want to make it very clear that invite your friend, make the phone call. Yeah, they probably don't want to talk, but you've made the effort, and that's what makes the difference to them.
Yeah.
Even if you know they're not going to say yes, or they're going to cancel last minute, do it. Invite. I'm really, really lucky because, I mean, I moved from Portsmouth to Yorkshire, and I still have the best friends that I had when I was, there. And we still talk all the time.
Which is rare even like at our age to still have the best friend that you had when you were in school.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I'm very grateful in the fact that I've always kept my circle quite small. I have a lot of friends. No, I don't. That's a lie. I have a lot of mates. I don't have a lot of friends. But
Yeah.
the friends I do have can read me inside out. I have nothing that I can't be like. If Abby says something, I'm like, nah, not today.
Quality, not quantity. And you need to be able to have that with your friends where you can go, look, you can call them out on shit. You can say, actually, hang on, or I just don't want to talk today.
I think for me,
other people aren't like that.
I think for me, I'm very naive in the fact that, yes, I've had postnatal depression, but it wasn't to a really, really bad extent. I spoke to my health visitor about it. I was fine within a couple of weeks. Probably wasn't that quick, but you know what I mean. So I'm very naive in the fact that, naive and lucky in the fact that I've never really struggled with a battle like that.
I don't think naive's a word, because you went through it. Everyone goes through it differently. There's no right or wrong way to have depression,
That's literally like saying, oh my God, Jodie is happy. I possibly cannot be happier than her because something more amazing's happened in her life.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's I do it to myself all the time. Like if I'm going through something, I'll be like, but that person's going through something worse. I think you said to me, Amy, but everyone's struggle is the worst struggle.
Oh yeah. My God, yeah. Everyone's struggles are different, and you feel your emotions differently to other people, and that is okay. Like that is completely normal, and that is fine. And I think it's healthy to feel your feelings, even on a higher level than other people, or what you perceive may be a higher level. Anyway.
Yeah. I think Abby's problem is she's quite hard-faced. She doesn't want you to know if she's suffering until she gets to the point where it's like, I'm at my end with this, Yeah. Otherwise, she's quite hard-faced, isn't she, in the way that she doesn't want you to know something's wrong.
Humour. That's my
God, same. Yeah, I'm the same. When I'm at work. It's very, very rare that I'm upset or anything. I'm very happy at work, but then that's not my real life. I know it sounds weird, but that I'm there to do a job to get paid, but when I'm not at work I can really feel my feelings. I think that's healthy, like being able to.
But even with that, I can't department. What's the word?
No, you've made me forget.
Decompartmentalize.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
I feel like that's like
do that with my feelings. So I'm like Jodie said, I'm funny.
I never said you were funny. Let me put that out there.
What did you say?
I said you are hard-faced.
You said funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that I hide my feelings with humour, and then like last Saturday, for instance, we were meant to record. We didn't because I was the whole week really struggling, and then on Saturday it just hit me, and then after we finished recording, Amy rang me and I just burst out in tears.
It was that simple. Are you really okay? And she was like, no, I'm not, and that was it. But I knew that would happen, but I knew that it needed to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just need someone to go, actually, are you all right? And that's fine, that's normal.
And I don't feel like that happens enough. And I think with mental health, social media does play a massive part into it. And I think we've said it before at some point in one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Because on social media, you portray that you're perfect, you're happy. Like, this is my life. Oh, look at my lounge. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, look at my daughter. Isn't she amazing? Oh, look at my newborn baby. But behind the scenes, you don't see the nipple leakage. You don't see that, oh my God, I hate my body. And you don't see the I'm not getting any fucking sleep.
Yeah.
You just see, oh my God, look at that perfect baby. And I think that's a lot of people, especially young people these days, compare themselves to a false representation of your life.
Lip fillers, boob jobs. They're having. I've had my eyebrows tied on before. Lol, doesn't like it now. Cheers, COVID. But
Jodie's in the same situation. She's literally got a little bit of brow hair, and then like you've drawn them on though.
Oh yeah, I've drawn them on.
what, did you have them tattooed?
Yeah, but they should have been gone. Like they should have faded about 2 years ago. But
Oh
she
my
went
God.
too deep in with a needle.
So they're literally stuck to her face.
I have one little tiny bit here that when they're all like done and when they've been pruned, I have one little tiny bit there, and it's on a bold bit. So
I'll show you mine because they are horrific. They are something else. Like I shouldn't. No.
But social media is the reason why we're doing shit like that.
100%.
I mean, I did it to try and help a friend out, but now she works in a hospital, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think coping mechanism wise, people find different things. So my coping mechanism is to literally hide everything from everyone.
Yeah.
I would rather have a breakdown on my own in the bath than let someone see me cry. And I think I learnt that from my mum. Sorry, mum, if you will be listening to this. Sorry,
But your
mum.
mum is so strong. Like
Yeah, but she's not.
no, but for us growing up, your mum was always the one who had her shit together. Something went wrong, your mum could fix it.
Oh
Not
yeah,
a
and
shadow
she
of a
still is
doubt.
that woman for me,
100%, yeah.
But like, so mum goes through her own struggles, but she won't cry in front of me still. I'm 25 years old, but I'm her baby, so she will not cry in front of me. So she'd rather like listen to my shit and then go home and cry on her own, and that breaks my heart. I'd rather her just do it in front of me. But I know I'm going to be the same in front of Faye, because if I cry in front of Faye, I feel so guilty.
Yeah, I'm not that mum. I can't be because I'm like a tap. I'm just crying all the time. Like Ryan sees me. Ryan is such a cutie. Like if he knows I'm sad, he knows because we're so close. It was just us for so long that it's hard to hide things like that from him.
Yeah.
And he knows, and he'll come and he'll kiss me on my head and he'll ask me if I'm okay, and I'll go, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, okay. And then he'll draw me something, to make sure I'm okay. And I also want it to be so normal for him.
Definitely.
To cry, be sad, it's fine,
Faye's the same in a sense. Obviously, she's 4 years, nearly 5 years younger than Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But if I do cry in front of her, she copies what I do when I'm consoling her. So she'll come over to me, she'll stroke my face, she'll rub under my chin, and she'll be like, "Mummy, it's okay." She'll go, "Let your emotions out, Mummy, it's okay." And she'll just give me a kiss, and she'll be like, "Are you done cuddling now? Because I want to go back and play."
That's you.
Yeah.
Are we done with this cuddle?
Yeah, exactly. She learned, well, obviously I'm not Faye, I'm done cuddling, but obviously she learns it from me. But I don't know if that's going to hit, like, from me, I don't know if that's going to hinder her not releasing her emotions. I mean, she is, like, really bloody emotional child, but do you know what I mean? Like, growing up.
I definitely don't think it will hinder her emotions. She
will let you know how she is feeling, I can tell you that.
I'll just tell you, she doesn't hold back, that girl.
Earlier we were on FaceTime together, right? We were having the time of our life. I was bonding with my goddaughter, also I thought, and she was like, "I'm done now."
And she just hung up on it.
Just hung up.
Birthday, you sent me a video and you'd practice like for her to sing happy birthday to me, and you were like, "Happy birthday, Amy," and she was like,
yeah,
birthday.
It's not my birthday, it's not a
Yeah, that's literally it. She's amazing though. So
about her hair, and she just
what did I say to her?
Oh, you said, "I like your dress," and she went, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I drew a picture and I said to her, "You
Oh
can
my
lie,
God.
by the way, Faye." I said, "You can pretend it's all right so that you don't hurt my feelings." Yeah, mine is better though.
Because they were having a cute little like godmother goddaughter bonding session over FaceTime, because obviously we've not managed to see them in like 2 years.
Yeah.
So they were having a cute little session over FaceTime, and Jodie, they were both drawing one of Faye's Barbies, and like obviously Jodie's doing it via FaceTime, but she can't actually see this Barbie.
I love that you're still trying to make that the reason why it was a bad drawing.
No, but you made the dress really, like, the body was really square, and Faye looked at it and she went, "Well, Chelsea doesn't look like that."
She's not wrong.
She's just so me through and through. Like, she is brutal.
But she just hasn't learned what a filter is yet.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Before we bring this to an end then, Jode, is there anything else, any message you want to get out to anyone that's listening to this that may be struggling, or anything else you wanted to add? Anything you feel you've missed about your journey?
I think the thing I would want people to take away is, if you're struggling, think of the person you love the most and put them in your shoes. And how would you want to treat them, or what would you want to say to them to make it better for them? Because that's what they all want to do for you. Even though you don't want to hurt them, you don't want to pester them with your problems, they want to be there for you. Sometimes you just have to let them.
That's such a brilliant way of looking at it, though.
100%.
It made me a little bit emotional. Like,
I know, I saw your face, I laughed at it.
See what I mean? What is wrong with her?
Mum, Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Oh, I'm bad. I know.
You're just a dick, it's alright.
Mega dick.
Mega dick.
So I think...
Thank you for coming on, Jodie, and thank you for answering all of our questions and being very opaque with everything. Is that the right word?
Isn't
opaque? Isn't that a nail polish?
No, transparent with everything. Huh?
She went, isn't that a nail polish? That's OPI.
Oh.
But being transparent with everything, we very much appreciate it and have enjoyed having you on.
Thank you. I just hope I haven't offended anyone in the way I've said things.
I think what everyone also just needs to take from this is, obviously, it is your journey. It's how you've coped with it. It's not how Sally down the road will cope with it if she's going through something similar. I think speaking about the way you're dealing with your mental health illnesses or your eating disorders is very personal, but it may awaken someone to think, actually, maybe I do need to seek some help, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there is so much available. So wherever you are, like, you can reach out. There's so much out there now.
Amy, do you have anything to say?
Just thank you for coming on and talking to us about things that are personal. Just want to say thanks. Did you hear that?
No, what was it?
That's fine, because Dave just sneezed the loudest fucking sneeze, and it sounded like he did it from upstairs and he's downstairs.
Cute.
Bless you.
Well, thank you very much, Jode. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Also, guys, if any of you are struggling and you don't feel that you can reach out to your friends or family, please know that there are a lot of numbers and helplines that you can ring. So that here is a few. This one is called Mind, and the number is 0300 123 3393.
Another one that you can contact is the Samaritans on 116 123. You can call them free day or night, 365 days of the year. If you have no way of contacting them via mobile, they do have a website. You're never alone, and if there's anything that we can do to help, pop us a message too.
If you need immediate help and you're in an emergency, please call 999 or go to your local A&E department. And if you're in crisis and need someone to talk to, call NHS 111 as well.